another big topic going on this week is that Google just made some pretty significant AI announcements as part of its Google Cloud Next 23 event that took place over the last few days. The event was headlined by Google's announcements that Duet AI for Workspace, its generative AI tool in Gmail, Docs, Sheets, Slides, Chat, and Meet, is now generally available and has a no cost trial. So, as part of the event, Google also announced new models in Vertex AI. Vertex AI is their suite of APIs that basically allow you to access a bunch of different foundational models. So now using Vertex AI, you can now access Llama 2 and Code Llama, both from Meta, and Claude 2 from Anthropic access is coming soon. Now, as part of these updates, they debuted some new digital watermarking functionality for Imagen, Google's image generation technology. Now, this is actually interestingly powered by Google DeepMind by something called SynthID. And it basically could give us a preview of how we'll be able potentially to accurately identify AI generated images and text in the future. So, some big updates here, but let's start with Duet AI for Workspace. What features of this stood out to you, and what should marketers and business leaders be paying attention to here?
I think it was last week we talked about that I had just gotten access to the Duet AI on my personal Gmail, and we didn't know when this was coming.
Yep.
And I hadn't thought to look out at the Google Next conference coming a few days later and assume it was going to happen. But the thing that, again, we've talked about this many times, but you have it in Gmail, you have it in Docs, you have it in Sheets, you have it in Slides, Meeting. Like it's going to be everywhere. I will say for the Workspace admins out there, real quick, I went to add this because you could go in and request a free trial when they announced it. It's like you can go in and get the trial. So I did that and I got an email saying, great, here you go. Like if you're an admin, just go add it in your account. And so I was playing around this morning trying to figure out, well, how the heck do you actually do it? So this is a quick tip for the Google Workspace admins out there. What you need to do, because it is not obvious, is go to your admin account, click on billing, and we'll put this flow in the show notes. Click on upgrade, and then click on Google Workspace add-ons. So that's how you actually then get the Duet AI. Once you get there, you pick start trial of Duet AI. And this is what it's going to do is once it's turned on, it will be on by default and every user will have it on and they won't be able to turn it off. So it will be a constant feature for them in Gmail, Docs, everything. So once you do that, the pricing is there's a trial plan for 14 days. There's a flexible plan, which is $36 per user per month if you want to pay monthly, or there's an annual plan that is $30 per user per month. So that's what we're looking at, which is what the pricing that we've heard about Copilot from Microsoft was going to be $30 per user per month. So I'm guessing it's all the same, which maybe alludes to what ChatGPT enterprise pricing would look like. I can't imagine they're going to have something totally disproportionate to this. So that gives us a sense of kind of where the pricing is falling. So for me, we haven't seen yet how good it is in Gmail and how good it is in Docs. Those are the two most obvious uses right up front for everybody because every business sends email and creates documents. It does get us back to this issue of like, your people need to be trained on this though. So like, we're going to just turn these features on. And now in our organization, it's a small team and everyone obviously is involved in AI and understands this stuff. So we don't have too many concerns about it. But if you're an admin and you turn this on and all of a sudden like accounting and finance and legal and HR and everybody else has access to these tools and they have no idea what the heck they are. So I would advise, like, if you're the admin and you're going to go turn this on and you have a company of 20, 30, 50 people, and they're all going to come to work on Tuesday after Labor Day, and like, they're going to have this help me write button, I'm going to know what the heck to do with it. So that's just kind of like more of like a admin guidance. So give you a quick rundown. So the way this is going to work is in Gmail, there is a help me write button. The functionality will be, it can write your draft for you. It can formalize a draft, so change the tone. It can elaborate on your draft, so it can add further detail to your email to build it. It can shorten your draft, so decrease the length of the email. Or there's an I'm feeling lucky option, which is introduce fun variations on tone and style for content you've drafted. So as a Google Workspace user, you will have that in both your mobile and your desktop app. In the Docs version, the Help Me Write button will again write it for you. Um, you can do tone, you can do summarization, so you can generate a summary of the entire doc. You can bulletize. Is that a word? That's what they use. Bulletize.
It is now.
It is. I kind of like that word actually. So as you would assume, it means use bullets to represent your text. You can elaborate, so you can add further detail to build on generated text. You can shorten. You can retry, which is have it generate another draft, or you can customize it with your own instructions. So again, think of all of those individual use cases. You have to teach your team what these are. So what I would be doing right now, and maybe we should be doing this too, is like assign someone who is going to be the lead person testing all this capability over the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever it is, and have a plan of how to integrate this stuff into your workflows and to guide people. Just turning these tools on is
Mm,
not going to get you full value from them. You have to go through and experiment with what they're going to be capable of. And then again, going back to Mike's original question, does this obsolete these third-party AI writing tools we are using? We have no idea. Like
mm.
until you take, well, here's the 5 ways we're using a third-party writing tool right now. And now that we have Workspace, does it solve for those same use cases? Is it complementary or is it redundant? That's the question you're going to ask, but you're going to have to do it at a use case level.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I think that idea of assigning someone to figure this out over the next few weeks is a really smart one. I mean, there's so many ways that, to your point about turning it on, there's so many ways it could go wrong as well. I mean, there's just people just need a baseline of education, understanding what's even possible with some of these features.
Well, I think for you and I, Mike, like we have, we deal with AI savvy people all the time. So
Mm,
they're like geeked about this.
yeah.
There's going to be a lot of companies who are going to turn this on for people who know nothing about AI and don't want to know anything about AI. Like I retweeted something from Ali Miller yesterday about like the thing that no one's talking about is the change management required to push technology like this into a system that changes like a paradigm shift
Mm,
in talent and in workflows, processes. That's the thing that not enough companies are even talking about right now, more or less solving for. And we've seen it. We've talked to a lot of big companies where they're starting to think about it, but it's often happening in the marketing department. The
yeah.
change management isn't being envisioned in all the other functions within the business. And that to me is like the thing that needs to be a priority in the second half of 2023 because as we talk about this tech is only going to get faster. Microsoft's going to come out with their version. We'll talk about Google Meet in a second, but like this tech is just going to be everywhere all of a sudden. And if you haven't talked about that with your team and put planning in place and training in place, then it's not going to go well.
Yeah, so you mentioned, well, maybe walk me through a bit about Google Meet here, that because I know you had called that out as pretty interesting as well as part of some of these updates.
Yeah, so there was a section in their launch that I put on LinkedIn. It said to help you better engage during meetings, we're removing the burden of note taking and sending out recaps, which cool on its surface. Duet AI can capture notes, action items, and video snippets. That's a new one. I hadn't heard
Mm,
of like capturing video snippets and
mm,
doing it. Almost like video shorts that are automated. That's kind of cool. In real time with the new take notes for me feature, and it will send a summary to attendees after the meeting. It can even help get latecomers up to speed with summary so far, is in quotes, which gives us a quick snapshot of everything they've missed. But what if you can't make the meeting? This is the one where I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. What if you can't make the meeting and have some input to share with, quote, attend for me? Duet AI will be able to join the meeting on your behalf, delivering your message and ensuring you get the recap.
Huh.
I'm sorry, Mike. If your attend for me shows up for a one-on-one you and I have,
Yeah.
and it just tells me what you wanted to say, we may have some issues. So
Yeah, no
again,
kidding.
this goes to the change management function. Like, what if executives just start throwing their attend for me duet AI into meetings with like employees and they think it's fun and cool, and their employees are like insulted that their
Mm.
leaders aren't taking the time to talk to them. Like, again, nobody is prepared for this from an organizational perspective, from a culture perspective. So the tech is going to be here. It's here. And like, what the hell do we do with this? So that was to me that jumped out. It's like, oh my God, like I didn't even know about the video snippets and the attend for me thing. I still don't like when people's note taker shows up. Like you're
Yeah,
on Zoom
yeah,
and you see somebody's like note takers there. It's like, I didn't give permission to like send your note taker. Like, what are you doing? And people
yeah.
just like by default. So I could totally see people just like throwing their attend for me in there. And it's like, what is going on?
Mm,
So I don't know. I think the dynamics of virtual meetings seem like they're just about to change because I know Teams is doing a lot of these same things because Microsoft showed a lot of these functions in their demo video a few months back. And there's no way Zoom doesn't build this stuff in. So
right.
meetings are just going to change and nobody's talking about it.
And we're all so good at regulating meetings as it is, right? So it's like we're gonna get flooded with some of this stuff. So let's talk about a couple more quick updates they announced. First up, what is the significance of the updates around Vertex AI and this ability to access some more top foundational models using Vertex AI?
So honestly, when I saw Vertex AI in the announcement, I was like, what is that? Like, I know I've heard of it. I feel like
Yeah.
I should know it, but I don't actually know what the heck Vertex AI is. They're just like, now we have Duet AI, we have Vertex AI. So I had to dig in for a second, and it is their system that provides APIs to leading foundational models, so so you can like kind of prototype and build things on top of these models. So the equivalent that I assume we're looking at is kind of how we talked about AWS Bedrock or Amazon
Mm,
Bedrock, where you
yeah.
can go in and you can get their Titan model, or you can get Claude, or you can get Cohere, I think is in there. So basically, like an everything store for models. So I think what Google's doing here is saying, hey, listen, you might not use our language models, and that's okay. We just want you to pay us for the compute. Like we
Mm,
want your data in our Google Cloud. And so if you want to use Llama or Code Llama or Claude 2 or Falcon or like whatever language model you want to use, just keep the data in Google Cloud, basically.
yeah.
So it seems like that's what Vertex AI is. So this is probably
Gotcha.
more of like the tech data conversation, that audience, but just know that everyone is basically understanding that people are going to pick and choose their models. And AWS, Microsoft, and Google want your data in their clouds because that's where they make all their money.
So what about this SynthID thing, this ability to potentially watermark AI generated images and text? Are we close to finally solving this?
I don't think so. Like DeepMind's talked about this. And again, just quick recap. So DeepMind is the main AI research lab within Google. It was originally an independent AI research company acquired by Google. Google Brain and Google DeepMind merged about 3, 4 months ago to make Google DeepMind. Demis Hassabis, who we've talked about a bunch of times, is the
Mm,
CEO of DeepMind and leads AI at Google. So DeepMind has been working on SynthID, which we've Imagen is was introduced by Google in like April of 2022. It does what Dolly 2 does, Midjourney does, like give it a prompt, it generates text or generates an image. It was never publicly released. You can only get access to it through their API to build with it.
mm,
And it's now going to be infused into like Google Slides, I think, where you can build images within slides with prompts. But what they've done is they've created a way to watermark outputs from image gen only. This does not work for Dolly or Midjourney or any other things. So it's only an image gen functionality, and it stays there even if the images are cropped and edited out. So it basically is a true watermark within image gen images. So they'll be able to use it to identify ones that were built by Google. The possibility here is that DeepMind solves for this and licenses this capability or open sources it for the rest of the industry to solve
okay.
for image. So that's what they're trying to do. And what I assume they're at least in talks with is you need universal standards for this. And they had a breakthrough in the technology that could allow other image generation companies to very quickly follow on and have the same standard. So that's my assumption of why we should pay attention to this is not
Yeah.
because image gen is widely popular yet, it's that this could be a prelude to the rest of the industry following on.